the deepest truths in love are rarely spoken clearly. They're felt long before they're ever said out loud. Have you ever paused for a moment and asked yourself why a man can hear the words, "I love you," again and again, and still pull away as if nothing was ever enough? It's because those words, as beautiful and powerful as we want them to be, are not always the thing that holds him. Sometimes they're only the beginning, the smallest spark. And right now, what we're about to step into together, it isn't a spark. It's a fire spreading through the places inside him he never knew were waiting for you. Before we go any deeper, tap the like button and subscribe. Not because I need the numbers, not because it looks good, but because I'm pouring everything I have, everything I know, everything I've lived through right here for you. I'm not reading from a page. I'm speaking from the part of me that understands how heavy this can feel, how confusing it becomes, how deeply these emotions run inside a woman who just wants to be understood, valued, and remembered. This isn't surface-level advice. This isn't logic and steps and lists. This is for the part of you that is exhausted from thinking too much, tired of trying to decode his behavior, tired of wondering what he's thinking or if you're losing him slowly without noticing. This is for the version of you that is ready to be seen fully, clearly, deeply, ready to be unforgettable in his world without bending, shrinking, or begging for anything, ready to exist in a way that he feels long after you walk out of the room. That's the energy we're building here. And if you're still with me, I need all of you present. Every feeling, every memory, every part of your soft and powerful heart. Now imagine this. You walk into a room. It's the same you, the same clothes, the same smile you've worn before, but something inside you has shifted. The way you move is different now. You're not checking to see if he's watching. You're not hoping to be noticed. You walk like you already know you belong there. You sit beside him, not in a way that asks for attention, but in a way that makes your presence impossible to overlook. Even if he tried, he couldn't pretend he doesn't feel you. And that is not an accident. That is your energy taking form. Because real attraction, real emotional pull, it doesn't come from being the loudest, the prettiest, or the one trying the hardest. Real attraction comes from being the one who reaches a man's soul without forcing anything. It's the kind of connection that leaves him thinking about you long after the night ends, long after the lights go out, long after everyone else has gone. That kind of woman stays on his mind because she doesn't chase, she doesn't push, she doesn't compete. She simply exists in a way that touches something deeper in him. Somewhere along the way, you were taught a sweet but shallow idea that men need constant words to stay. That if you repeat "I love you" enough times, he'll stay secure and close, like love works the way a password does. Say it enough, and the doors never close. But the truth is this: men don't stay because they're told to. They stay because they feel something real, something steady, something raw and grounded in truth. They stay where their chest relaxes, where their mind quiets, where the energy is honest. Men don't just listen, they sense. They don't only remember your words, they remember moments. They remember the way your fingers brushed across his arm like it truly mattered to you. They remember the sound of your laughter that made him feel free for a second. They remember how you walked away, not angry, not emotional, but with a quiet certainty in your worth. The kind of walk that makes a man sit there asking himself why losing you feels like losing air. That kind of woman doesn't ask to be remembered. She already is. And understand this clearly. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. This isn't about faking confidence or acting detached. It's not a performance. This is about revealing the version of you that has always been there. The version that feels deeply but stands strong. The version whose silence sometimes speaks louder than words. The version whose presence alone tells a story of depth, softness, strength, and emotion. I'm not giving you tricks. I'm not handing out manipulation. This is an awakening. These are ways to make a man feel truly loved, not through forced words or desperate gestures, but through a presence that stirs something in him so deeply it changes the way he sees you. So deeply that even when you say, "I love you," it feels small compared to how you live inside him. This is for the women who already know they're enough, but want to step into something unforgettable. We're not following old rules anymore. We're breaking them open. Every old voice that told you to be quieter, to shrink, to not be too much, let them go. Because when your intensity is rooted in truth, it is not overwhelming. It becomes irresistible. It becomes something he can't erase. You're not here to be liked politely. You're here to be remembered deeply. So lean in. Every line matters. Every pause matters. Nothing here is filler. This is a shift. This is emotional wisdom lit on fire. And when we finish, I don't want you to just understand your power. I want you to walk with it, live in it, breathe in it. If you're still with me, say it, whisper it, write it, let it vibrate inside your chest. I am the gravity, not a magnet, not a spark. Gravity, the force he feels even when he tries not to. Now stay close. We're only getting started. We're about to set this whole thing ablaze. Imagine this, you're at dinner with him, that little warm place you both love. The lights are soft, the room gentle, and even the clink of silverware feels intimate. He's sitting across from you, hair slightly messy from the day, wearing that shirt that does something to you without trying. He begins telling you something meaningful, something that matters. Your phone buzzes just for a second. You look down. It's nothing urgent. You look back up. He's still talking, but the air has changed, even if only by an inch. And in that tiny shift, something important is revealed. The difference between attention and presence. His tone is still warm when he speaks, but something in his eyes flickers just slightly, like a candle touched by a soft wind. It's small, almost invisible, but you feel it in your chest. The spark isn't gone, but it dimmed for a moment. And what hurts the most is knowing you didn't mean to step out of the moment. You weren't trying to disconnect. Life simply pulled at you. The non-stop noise, the deadlines, the buzzing notifications, the endless chatter of responsibilities. You didn't leave the moment on purpose. You were simply swept away for a second. But that second mattered more than you realized, because in that tiny pause, in that glance at your phone, in that break from him, something subtle but real happened. He felt the shift. He felt the space. He felt the moment close a little. And even though he probably won't say a single word about it, no complaints, no comments, nothing, inside him a small wall begins to rise. Not a dramatic wall, not a cold wall, but one of quiet self-protection. A tiny shield he lifts without thinking, because men don't always express hurt. They adjust to it. And over time, without meaning to, he shares fewer soft pieces. He reveals fewer vulnerable moments. He opens up less. Not because he loves you less, but because a part of him wonders if he has to protect those tender parts from being dropped or missed. And he won't announce it. He won't warn you. He'll just slowly close the parts of him that once opened effortlessly. This is why real love isn't built on big speeches or dramatic gestures. It's built on the small, consistent moments. Stillness, presence, attention. Real love is not loud. Real love is steady. Real love is felt in the quiet moments when two people are fully with each other. That's love in motion. It's not about staring into his eyes like you're acting in a movie. It's about letting him feel, truly feel, that in that moment, he is the center of your world. Not because you're desperate, not because you're clingy, but because you're present, fully present. And maybe you've thought, what if he doesn't even notice when I'm fully there? What if I give him all my attention and he's still lost in his phone, still distracted, still wrapped in everything except me? Listen to me closely. When a woman leads with presence, everything shifts. Presence doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it doesn't compete. Presence changes the room. Presence centers the energy. Presence is felt by everyone, especially by a man who has been starving for something real. Presence isn't something you hand out like a gift, it's something you embody. And when you embody it, from your breath to your tone to the way you sit beside him, you become a force he can't ignore. Not because you demanded attention, but because your energy anchors the entire space. And trust me, he'll remember that. He may forget the long messages, the little jokes, the random texts, but he will always remember the look you gave him that made him feel like nothing else existed for a moment. That sort of moment settles inside a man. It remains. It reverberates. It becomes woven into his memory. So when you sit next to him again, don't bring your mental checklist along. Don't sit there planning tomorrow's duties. Don't half scroll while pretending to hear him. Arrive. Arrive with your breathing. Arrive with your heart. Arrive with calm, with ease, with true attention. Tell him through your presence, I'm here. I'm with you. You matter to me. That kind of presence is uncommon. That kind of presence is unforgettable. Be with him as if your spirit is listening, not only your ears. Because in a world submerged in distraction, a woman grounded in presence becomes a miracle. She becomes the pause in his chaos. She becomes the safe place he didn't know he was longing for. And now, when we speak about touch, understand this. It is not about skin alone. It is not merely physical. Touch is a dialogue. Touch is memory. Touch is emotion without language. Touch is truth wrapped in stillness. Say it with me. Type it. Murmur it. Let it settle within you. I am the presence. Now imagine this. He comes home after a long day. His shoulders are weighed down, his eyes worn, his mind elsewhere. He doesn't have the words to explain what pressed on him. Men don't always share their storms. Sometimes they carry them quietly, believing they must handle them alone, and you step toward him, slow and warm, with that gentle smile that softens anything it meets. You wrap your arms around him. Not a hurried hug, not a casual tap, not a distracted squeeze while thinking of errands. No, a real embrace, your arms fully around him, your soul fully present. You hold him for 7 seconds, long enough for his body to stop bracing, long enough for the walls he didn't even realize he built to fall. You breathe together, and in that instant, without a single word spoken, you communicate everything that matters. I'm here. You're safe. We're still us. I choose you. That is what touch is meant to be. Not just closeness, but comfort. Not only contact, but connection. Men won't always ask for this. Not because they don't want it, but because they were taught to stay strong, even when they're breaking inside. Their bodies hold stress they never name. But your touch, the slow kind, the intentional kind, the steady kind, tells him a truth deeper than any speech. I see you. I feel you. You matter. You've felt the difference too, haven't you? A quick kiss feels routine, but a slow, meaningful touch opens something. It softens something. It reaches something. Touch that's rushed is noise. Touch that's intentional is music, the kind that lingers in his heart long after it ends. So next time he walks past you, don't just brush his arm. Don't offer a distracted kiss. Instead, pull him closer. Let him melt into you. Let his shoulders fall. Let his breath deepen. Let him feel home in your arms. Because that's what you are to him. Not just attraction, not only desire. Home. When a woman touches a man with intention, she doesn't merely touch his skin. She touches his memory, his spirit, his sense of safety. She becomes the thing he never wants to lose. Touch is only one path into a man's heart. Another is so simple that many overlook it. Food, not the meal itself, but the care behind it. Picture this. It's just a normal Tuesday. Nothing special. The air feels heavy with fatigue, but he walks into the kitchen and sees you there making his favorite dish. Not because you had to, not because it was easy, but because you wanted him to feel cared for, remembered, understood. And even if he barely speaks, you'll see the gratitude in the way his shoulders loosen. You'll hear it in that quiet exhale men give when they feel seen without asking. Because for a man, food isn't just food. It's memory, it's comfort, it's connection. It's a silent message that says, I thought of you, I know you, I care in the ways that count. He may never say it outright, but that moment touches him. And maybe the thought crosses your mind. I'm not here to cater to anyone. I'm not here to play a role or serve someone. And you're right. That's not what this is. And I hear you. Truly. This isn't about forcing yourself into old limiting roles or becoming some version of a caretaker you never wanted to be. This isn't about tradition. This is about emotional fluency, the skill of loving with intention, the ability to express care with precision, the quiet art of showing someone, I notice what brings you ease, and I enjoy being the one who offers that to you. That's not submission, that's connection, that's depth. That's what separates real love from shallow surface gestures people mistake for intimacy. Because when you do something thoughtful, you're not shrinking yourself, you're not losing power, you're actually demonstrating one of the strongest forms of love, awareness. Awareness that says, I see you. I remember what softens you. I know what brings you joy. And that is unforgettable. That is what creates connection that feels real, rooted, and lasting. Even if all you're doing is reheating leftovers with care, warming something slowly on the stove, watching it simmer, adding a bit of extra spice, or baking something simple that ends up slightly burnt at the edges. Even if the kitchen is a mess, even if flour is on your face and smoke drifts from the oven, it's never about perfection. He's not judging the plate. He's sensing the intention behind it. Because when a man walks into a room and smells something made for him, something that exists only because you cared enough to create it, it awakens something in him far beyond hunger. It stirs nostalgia, warmth, memory, gratitude. His heart responds before his mind catches up. That feeling stays with him long after the last bite fades. You're not cooking to impress him. You're not performing. You're showing affection in one of the oldest, truest forms, nourishment, love disguised as something simple. And what comes next runs even deeper. It's not about the food. It's about reflection, the version of you he can't look away from, especially when you're not trying at all. It's about the light in you that stays lit even on your tired days. It's about remembering your own fire. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is show him you still choose to radiate. Not for him, but for yourself. So imagine this. It's been a long, draining week. You've been living in leggings, hair pulled into a messy bun, wrapped in an oversized hoodie because life has been loud, chaotic, demanding. That version of you, soft, tired, real, is beautiful. But tonight, you want to shift the energy, not for him, but for the part of you that misses feeling electric. You slip into that dress, the one that holds you in all the right places, the one that reminds you who you are beneath the noise. You smooth it over your hips, take a breath, step into the room, and suddenly his whole world tilts. Whatever filled his mind disappears for a moment. He looks at you like he's rediscovering something he forgot he was allowed to feel. And no, it's not the dress doing the magic. It's what the dress represents. It's your message to the universe, to yourself, and yes, to him. I still want to glow. I still want to feel alive. I still want to spark. You might think, do I need to dress up to keep him interested? Absolutely not. You do it because you're invested in your own energy. Because when you feel confident, lit up, beautiful, and alive, you don't just catch his attention. You reclaim your own power. You look in the mirror and whisper, she's still here. She never left. Men may be visual, sure, but visuals are only part of it. What truly draws a man in is the energy beneath the image, the confidence, the freedom, the spark in your eyes when you're enjoying yourself. When a woman remembers her own radiance, it's impossible not to feel it. So don't dress up for him. Dress up for the version of you who refuses to dim just because life grew heavy. Every graceful movement, every breath you take, every step you make says quietly, yet powerfully, I choose to show up for this love and for myself. And that choice is not small. That choice is everything. Now picture another scene. You're tying your shoelaces. Not because you're chasing a number on a scale or training for a trip or trying to fit into something, but because you want more time with the person you care about, more years, more shared mornings, more inside jokes, more plans that take root. You inhale deeply, stretch, move your body, and it's not about vanity, it's about devotion, a quiet promise you make to yourself and to him. You're saying, I want to be here. Not only today, not only this season, but for years, for the laughter, for the memories, for the moments yet to happen that we haven't even imagined, that green juice in your glass, that early morning walk, that quiet moment of choosing yourself. It isn't punishment, it's love. A love that begins with you but doesn't stop there. Because your health doesn't just serve your own future. It becomes a gift you offer to him, not through speeches, but through longevity, through steadiness, through the effort you make to remain well. When he sees you care for yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, he sees something solid he can rely on. He sees a woman who is grounded, who is deliberate, who is all in, not just with words, but with action. A woman who doesn't only say, I love you, but proves it in the strongest way possible. I plan to be here. Maybe you worry sometimes, but what if he doesn't notice? What if he doesn't do the same? What if he doesn't meet my consistency? Hear me. Your effort is not wasted simply because it's quiet. Your steady care speaks louder than you realize. Even when no one applauds, even when no one reacts, your self-care is not self-indulgence. It's self-respect. And self-respect protects the love you're nurturing. Because when you protect your wellness, you're also protecting the bond you're creating. You're guarding the future of your relationship. And now what comes next has nothing to do with your body. It's about a different kind of strength. The kind that lives in your voice. The kind that shows up in the words you choose. The kind that lifts him when life tries to weigh him down. Inside, every man lives a younger version of himself, quietly wondering, am I doing enough? You don't solve that question because it isn't yours to fix, but you soothe it, you soften it, you speak to it with kindness. Picture this. He's in the kitchen twisting open a jar, taking out the trash, putting things back where they belong. He's not performing. He's not asking for attention. He's simply doing what needs doing. And then you look at him, truly see him. And with a warm smile that holds honesty, you say, I love how you handle things without being asked. He might just shrug, might only say, But inside, something rises taller, because even the strongest men carry quiet doubts they never voice. Am I seen? Am I valued? Does what I do matter? What softens a man more than compliments? Being noticed, being genuinely observed, being appreciated for the things he assumed went unseen. It's when you say things like, I noticed you checked the door before we slept. Or, I saw you fix that broken thing without complaining. Or, I felt how you held space for me when I needed air. That is where intimacy starts. Not in dramatic gestures, not in loud promises, but in the quiet affirmations that whisper, I see you. Maybe he isn't great at giving words back. Maybe he forgets to mirror it. But when you shift from expecting praise to acknowledging effort, you build something real. You nourish the part of him that wants to stay strong for you. A man who feels uplifted by a woman doesn't just remain. He grows, stretches, deepens. Speak to his core, not to inflate his ego, but to feed him where he rarely gets fed. Now imagine this. He's stretched out on the couch, headphones on, eyes locked on a show or game you don't understand at all. You walk by, glance at him, and instead of sighing, instead of interrupting, you say softly, "Enjoy it, babe. I'm nearby." No tension, no sharp edge, just ease. And he looks up surprised, almost thankful, because suddenly he realizes something. Being with you feels light. You don't need him attached to you to feel secure. You don't fall apart when he's in his own world for a moment. A man who is given breathing room gives more when he returns. If you want to live in a man's mind forever, be the woman who is comfortable with space. The woman who understands that real love doesn't cling. Real love stands firm even when the room is quiet. He doesn't need you pressed against him every second. What he needs is to know he can be himself and you won't unravel. You don't disappear emotionally just because he's not right beside you all the time. Here's the truth most people never say aloud. A woman who allows a man the space to miss her becomes a soft ache in his chest, the kind he carries with affection. So when he says he's stepping out or he needs an hour alone, don't panic. Don't leap to the worst story. Let it mean exactly what it is, him taking a breath, him resetting so he can come back to you clear, calm, ready. You don't lose a man by letting him breathe. You lose him by suffocating what makes him feel like himself. Trust the space between you. And when he returns fully without hesitation, without resistance, without that silent pullback men show when they feel confined. He comes back open, present, connected. That's what real trust creates. Now, let's speak about intimacy. The kind the world rarely teaches anymore. The kind that isn't rushed or forced. Everything in modern life moves too fast. People race through connection as if it's a task to finish. Kisses are brief. Conversations stay shallow. Touch becomes routine. But the closeness that stays with a man, the closeness that marks his spirit, is never about speed. It's about depth, stillness, intention. Picture this. He's had a long day, the kind that empties him. You reach for him, but instead of letting everything hurry, you ease into the moment. You slow it all down. Your hands move with tenderness instead of urgency. You explore the shape of him gently, learning him again. You breathe him in as if rediscovering something valuable. And in that softness, something sacred rises. He stops bracing, stops holding himself together. He lets his guard fall because real intimacy doesn't chase an ending. It creates a moment that says without words, "You matter here, you're safe, I see you." Sometimes intimacy isn't intense. Sometimes it's quiet and still. It's not the speed of your touch, it's the meaning behind it. When you stop rushing toward a peak and instead sink into presence, everything shifts. He doesn't just respond, he softens. He follows your breath, your rhythm, your warmth. That's when his walls fall. That's when the part of him he hides from the world begins to speak. Let him feel you. Not only your skin, but your intention. Let him feel the pause between your kisses. Let that silence whisper, "You're home." Maybe you wonder, what if he doesn't match the pace? What if he stays rushed? Then you guide him. You slow the moment with your own calm. You show him that intimacy is not a race, it's a language. And he remembers that. He remembers how your touch told him he was enough, how your kisses didn't demand anything, how your presence held him with honesty. Slow it down. Be the fire that doesn't flare but burns steady. Let your intimacy live in his memory like warmth he carries long after. And now if you look back at everything, you'll notice a thread running through it all. This isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters with intention, with soul. It's not about earning love. It's about embodying love in quiet ways, in your gaze, in your voice, in your gentle actions. Real love doesn't shout. It whispers. It steadies. It remains. That's what makes a woman unforgettable. Not how loudly she speaks, but how deeply she lives her truth. A man can hear "I love you" from countless voices and forget them all. But he never forgets the woman who made him feel like he could finally breathe. The one who saw past his layers. The one who loved him not for who he might become, but for who he already was. The one who didn't demand perfection, who simply gave him permission to be.